The true enemy of humanity is disorder.
Self-organizing teams are key to agile frameworks because we need the freedom of thought, the autonomy to explore ideas, respond to change. It's those ingredients that lead to innovation and efficiency, productivity. But I don't think we've yet perfected self-organization to a level that's predictable or achieves success consistently. Otherwise, we wouldn't be experiencing occasional breakdowns of chaos, loss of focus, disorganization. Now, there are many good examples of self-organization where it works well, and that's why in the last video I was borrowing heavily from multiplayer video games. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper today and talk about what features in multiplayer video games enable successful self-organization, collaboration. And I want to add, I'm talking specifically about games that do not have voice chat, don't allow verbal communication between players. Of course, there are games out there that have voice chat as part of it, and there's coordination then at a higher level. But the fascinating thing about games that don't allow voice chat is collaboration, spontaneous adjustments to conditions. All this self-organization is going on in real time, even without voice chat. And so my point is, if it's possible in video games, surely it's possible at work. And so what can we learn from video games, multiplayer video games, that we can apply to self-organization at work? So today, let's go into some of the details, some of the particular aspects. This isn't a comprehensive analysis, but we're going to take a look at some of the key features in video games that make them successful. First, let's talk about motivation. I suggest that what motivates us to play video games is not that different from what motivates us at work. We want to have a sense of adventure, have experiences that we might not otherwise have.
Traveling to Nepal.
Camaraderie with my teammates.
What a bunch of misfits and freaks we got here. I love it. Thanks.
And develop a sense of accomplishment. Master our craft. Master the challenge that we're involved in. And of course, a big motivator.
Play of the game.
Recognition for my accomplishments. That's my name on the board. Autonomy is fundamental to self-organizing teams, and the subject of autonomy in a traditional organization where we have a management hierarchy comes up in conferences, workshops, online discussion boards, blog posts, you name it. And inherently there's a conflict between autonomy and the traditional organizational structure of a corporation. Steve Denning, of course, refers to this in his posts, Why Managers Hate Agile. I would suggest, though, it's not enough to advocate for autonomy. I think we have to go deeper, and that's where I reference games and user experience. Autonomy works when we have clear enough guides, and I'm going to explain what those guides are. In a video game, we rely on the map. The map defines the scope of what we can do, what is possible.
Hello!
The game physics. And so it's within those boundaries that players can experience autonomy. I would suggest in companies, we haven't gone to that level of detail. We defer it to management. We expect each manager of every team, every department, to define what is permissible, what is allowed. And that's how we end up with variation, because managers are human. They're going to interpret what should be allowed, what is the scope of what our department, our team should be doing. And this is what makes it subjective in an organizational hierarchy, and this is what also erodes autonomy. Now, in a video game, we don't have managers to guide players. We have instead the user experience. So let's start at the beginning. Let's form a team and take a look at what Overwatch does as players select their character. Look in the right side of the screen for the prompt. The interesting thing about it is there is no manager, there is no person telling players how to play. So here are some examples. Next one is we've got a turret builder, an engineer who's had his turret blown up.
Reporting for duty.
Healers can really change the outcome of a game by boosting the health of other players while they're occupying territory.
Team, heal up here.
Let's get you back out there.
Objective A captured.
And here's another one where we have a teleporter that allows players to come back to the point of contention faster.
Teleporter online. We move swiftly.
So you can see all these different capabilities lead to a high degree of variation in gameplay. And that is only possible due to the autonomy that each player has. But I would suggest that autonomy exists because boundaries are built into the game. In real life, in organizations, we rely on managers to provide those boundaries. And in my opinion, this is the part that inhibits self-organizing teams the most. So for me, multiplayer video games are one really good example that show us self-organizing teams are truly possible and at a very high level of success. If we design our organizations with the user experience in mind and without relying on the assumption that a team manager or a department manager will sort things out if we don't care for all the details. If we design with the constraint that there is no one there to bail out team members if there's confusion, ambiguity, then we're going to design to a higher level of precision. And that's why I follow user experience professionals closely, because they give us insights to how to care for those details that matter and that make successful self-organization possible. See you next time.
The true enemy of humanity is disorder.